My sister stole my wedding venue, claiming I was too old for fairy tales at 38. She even convinced my parents that her third wedding deserved it more than my first. The morning of her ceremony, I stood at the entrance with the new deed. Welcome to my resort. You're trespassing. Security will escort you out. My name is Diana Chen, and I'm 39 years old. 6 months ago, my younger sister sabotaged my dream wedding because she thought I was too old to deserve happiness. Today, she's banned for life from the resort I now own, while I'm planning my actual dream wedding in the venue she tried to steal. Let me tell you how we got here. Growing up, Emma was the princess and I was the workhorse. 5 years younger, blonde to my black hair, petite to my tall, she was everything our parents thought a daughter should be. I was the smart one, expected to succeed quietly while Emma was celebrated for simply existing. Diana will be a CEO someday, Mom would say. But Emma, she'll be a bride. As if being a bride was an achievement. As if my success meant I didn't deserve love too. I threw myself into my career, starting a tech company at 25 while Emma flitted from relationship to relationship. By 30, I'd built my business into a multi-million-dollar enterprise while Emma was planning her second wedding. I was her maid of honor, again, smiling through speeches about true love from a sister who'd already had one starter marriage. Don't worry, she'd whispered at the reception. Maybe you'll be next. There's someone for everyone, even career women. Career women. Like it was a disease. The relationships I did have always seemed to end the same way. Men either felt threatened by my success or saw dollar signs. I dated a fellow entrepreneur who tried to merge our companies without my consent. A lawyer who kept joking about managing my money. A nice teacher who eventually admitted he couldn't handle dating someone more successful than him. By 35, I'd accepted that maybe love wasn't for me. I had my company, my penthouse, my independence. If that meant being alone, so be it. Then I met Marcus. He was my contractor, hired to renovate my office building. Tall, tattooed, with calloused hands and an easy laugh, the opposite of the suits I usually dated. He didn't know who I was at first, just thought I was the uptight lady in 4B, who kept complaining about construction noise. You know, he said after I'd stormed down for the third time, most people would be happy their building's getting upgraded for free. Most people can concentrate through jackhammering, I shot back. Fair point. How about dinner? My apology for the noise. Somewhere quiet. I almost said no. But something about his smile, the way he didn't seem intimidated by my anger, made me agree. That dinner changed everything. Marcus listened to me talk about coding and contracts with genuine interest. He told me about restoring historic buildings, about the satisfaction of creating something with his hands. When the check came, he insisted on paying. I asked you out, he said simply. My treat. No one had ever treated me like that. Like I was worth pursuing for more than my bank account. We fell in love slowly, then all at once. Marcus didn't care about my money. He had his own successful business. He wasn't threatened by my success, he was proud of it. He sent me flowers at the office, showed up with lunch when I worked late, and somehow made me feel like a woman, not just a CEO. When he proposed after 2 years of dating, it was perfect. Not flashy, not public. Just us on my apartment balcony, city lights sparkling below. I know you could buy your own ring, he said. Probably a better one. But I wanted to give you this. He opened a box revealing a vintage Art Deco ring, restored with the same care he put into his buildings. It's from 1920. Survived 100 years of other people's love stories. Thought it deserved another chapter. I said yes through tears. For the first time in my life, I felt like I deserved the fairy tale. That's when I made my mistake. I called Emma. Engaged, she squealed. Finally. Oh my God, Diana, I'm so happy for you. At your age, I thought, well, never mind. This is amazing. At my age, I was 38, not 80. But I ignored it, caught up in finally being able to share wedding excitement with my sister. I want you to be my maid of honor, I told her. I was yours twice. It would mean everything to have you there. Of course. Oh, this is going to be so fun. Where are you thinking? When? Spring? Summer? Actually, I've already found the perfect venue. You remember Rosewood Resort? Where we used to go for Christmas. Silence. The one on the lake, with the glass pavilion. That's the one. Marcus proposed there. Well, ask the owners about it. They're usually booked 2 years out, but they had a cancellation. December 20th. It's ours if we want it. December, that's in 6 months. I know it's fast, but Emma, it's perfect. Snow on the lake, the pavilion all lit up. I've dreamed about getting married there since I was 12. Right. Well, that's great, Dee. Really great. Something in her voice should have warned me. But I was too happy, too caught up in finally having what she'd had twice already. Someone who loved me enough to marry me. The next few weeks were blissful. I threw myself into wedding planning with the same intensity I'd built my company. Marcus and I visited Rosewood, met with the events coordinator, paid the substantial deposit. The pavilion was even more beautiful than I remembered. Walls of glass overlooking the lake, space for 200 guests, a miracle of architecture that seemed to float on water. It's perfect, I breathed, standing where I'd stand to say my vows. You're perfect, Marcus replied, pulling me close. Even if we got married at City Hall, it would be perfect. But I wanted the fairy tale. After years of being the practical one, the career-focused one, the one who didn't need romance, I wanted the dress, the flowers, the magical venue. I wanted to prove that success and love weren't mutually exclusive. Emma seemed excited at first. She came dress shopping, helped with invitations, gushed over flower arrangements. But there were comments. Don't you think the princess ball gown is a bit much? At your age, maybe something more sophisticated. 200 guests? That's quite the production for a first wedding. December's so cold. What about your older relatives? I brushed them off. Emma had opinions about everything. It was just her way. Then, a month before the wedding, everything exploded. I was in a meeting when my phone started buzzing. Mom, Dad, Emma, all calling repeatedly. I excused myself, worried something terrible had happened. Diana, thank God. Mom said when I called back. We need to talk about this wedding situation. What situation? Emma and Ryan. Their announcement. Don't tell me you didn't know. My stomach dropped. Know what? They're getting married. December 20th. At Rosewood. The phone slipped from my hand. I heard Mom's voice distantly, saying something about working this out like adults. But all I could think was no. Not again. Not this time. I drove to Emma's apartment in a fury. She answered the door looking sheepish but defiant, Ryan hovering behind her. You're engaged? I said. Again. To the guy you've been dating for 3 months. For months, she corrected. And when you know, you know. And you know you want to get married on MY wedding date? At MY venue. Diana, be reasonable. You can get married anytime. This date means something to Ryan and me. What could it possibly mean? You've known him for 4 months. Ryan stepped forward. It's my parents' anniversary. They died last year. December 20th was their 40th wedding anniversary, and I want to honor them. So pick December 20th next year. The resort's booked, Emma said quietly. For the next 3 years. They only had this date because of a cancellation. Because of MY cancellation. Which I took. For MY wedding. Emma's face hardened. Look, Diana, I know you're upset. But let's be honest here. This is my 3rd wedding. I know what I'm doing. You're 38 and it's your first. You can't even know if it'll last. Why waste Rosewood on what might be a starter marriage? A starter marriage? I'm just being realistic. At your age, first marriages rarely work out. You've been focused on your career so long, you don't know how to be a wife. Marcus is great, but he's a contractor. Is he really going to fit into your world long term? I stared at my sister, seeing her clearly for perhaps the first time. The pretty face masked something ugly, jealousy, spite, a deep need to be the special one. You're trying to steal my wedding. I'm trying to save you from embarrassment, she snapped. A 38-year-old woman playing princess? It's sad, Diana. You're too old for fairy tales. Step aside and let someone who understands romance have the venue. Get out, I said quietly. This is my apartment. Get out of my life. I left, shaking with rage. But the worst was yet to come. My parents, instead of supporting me, tried to play mediator. 2 weddings, same day, same venue, Dad suggested over dinner. Share the space. Or, Mom added, Diana could postpone. Emma's already been married twice. She knows what she wants. This might be good for you, honey. Take more time to plan. Make sure Marcus is really the one. He is the one, I said through gritted teeth. And I'm not sharing my wedding with the sister who's trying to steal it. Steal is such a harsh word, Mom chided. Emma called the venue. They said you could cancel and get most of your deposit back. She's already put down her deposit, so really it's done. She what? She was being proactive, Dad said. You know Emma. When she wants something, she goes for it. And you're okay with this? Your younger daughter stealing your older daughter's wedding. They exchanged glances. Diana, sweetheart, Mom said carefully, you have to understand. You've had such a successful career. You have money, independence, respect. Emma has weddings. It's what she's good at. Can't you let her have this? I walked out without another word. Marcus was furious when I told him. We'll sue them. The venue, your sister, everyone. That was our contract. No, I said, a strange calm settling over me. Let her have it. Diana, trust me. Let her have her December 20th wedding at Rosewood. Let her think she's won. Marcus knew me well enough to see the steel beneath the calm. What are you planning? Something better than revenge, I smiled. Justice. I called my CFO the next morning. I want to buy something. A resort in the mountains. Yes, the whole thing. I don't care what it costs. Rosewood Resort was family-owned, had been for 50 years. The current generation was looking to retire but wanted the right buyer. Someone who'd preserve the magic, not turn it into a corporate chain. I flew out personally, met with the Rosewood family, and made them an offer they couldn't refuse. We want to keep the staff, Mrs. Rosewood said. Some have been here for decades. Everyone stays, I assured her. With raises. And we'll expand. That meadow by the east wing? Perfect for a second pavilion. Those vintage cabins? We'll restore them for intimate ceremonies. And the current bookings? We'll honor them all, I said. Except one. There's a December 20th wedding I need to cancel. Mr. Rosewood frowned. The Morrison wedding? But that's my sister, who stole my date. Don't worry, I'll handle it personally. The sale went through in record time. Cash offers tend to do that. I now owned Rosewood Resort, every beautiful acre of it. And my first act as owner was to review the booking for December 20th. Emma Chen. Deposit paid. Contract signed. Contract voided. I waited until the morning of December 20th to make my appearance. Emma would have been up since dawn, getting her hair done, makeup perfect, 3rd wedding dress fitted. Her bridesmaids, our cousins who'd chosen her side, would be fluttering around. Ryan would be at the resort already, supervising setup. I stood at the entrance in a perfectly tailored suit, flanked by security and my lawyer. The parking lot was filling with guests, florists were unloading. The pavilion was being decorated with thousands of dollars worth of white roses. Emma arrived in a vintage Rolls-Royce, the picture of bridal elegance. She stepped out, radiant in her designer gown, and saw me. Diana? Her smile faltered. What are you doing here? I mean, it's nice that you came, but I'm not here as a guest, I said calmly. I'm here as the owner. Welcome to my resort. You're trespassing. Security will escort you out. The color drained from her face. You're what? I bought Rosewood last month. Didn't you get the notice? We canceled your booking. Refunded your deposit, of course. Can't have unauthorized events on my property. You can't do this, she shrieked. My wedding is in 2 hours. The guests, the flowers, the food. All trespassing, I nodded to security. Gentlemen, please help these people off my property. They have 10 minutes before I call the police. Diana. Emma lunged for me, but security stepped between us. You bitter, jealous bitch. You can't stand that I'm happy. Happy. I laughed. Emma, this is your third wedding. You stole my venue because you couldn't stand that I found love at 38. Who's bitter here? Ryan appeared, looking confused in his tux. What's happening? Why is security here? Your fiancé stole this venue from my sister, I told him. So my sister bought the venue. Congratulations, you're marrying a woman who's so petty she sabotaged her own sister's wedding. Still want to go through with it. The next hour was chaos. Emma sobbing, parents arriving and shouting, guests milling in confusion. I stood calm in the eye of the storm, watching my sister's third fairy tale crumble. Where are we supposed to go? Mom demanded. 200 guests are coming. There's a nice VFW hall in town, I suggested. Or the Marriott has a ballroom. Very reasonable rates. Diana, please, Dad tried. She's your sister. No, I said firmly. A sister would have celebrated my happiness. A sister would have helped me plan my dream wedding. Emma is a spoiled brat who couldn't stand someone else having a spotlight. Well, now she can have all the attention she wants, as the bride who got kicked out of her own wedding. Security efficiently cleared the property. Vendors were redirected, guests informed, and Emma's third wedding became the social disaster of the season. I heard later they ended up at a Holiday Inn conference room. Ryan's family was mortified. The marriage lasted 6 months. Marcus and I got married on New Year's Eve in the Rosewood Pavilion. Soft snow fell on the lake, candles reflected in the glass walls, and our 100 guests, carefully curated to exclude toxic family, celebrated our love. I wore a princess ball gown, because at 39, I'd earned the right to every fairy tale cliché I wanted. You know, Marcus said during our first dance, buying a whole resort is the most extra thing I've ever seen. I love it. I prefer to think of it as an investment, I smiled. In our future and in karma. Emma tried to sue me for emotional distress. It was thrown out. She tried to rally family support, but the story of her stealing my venue had spread. Even our parents couldn't defend her actions, though they tried to guilt me into forgiveness. She's learned her lesson, Mom pleaded. Can't you let her visit? She wants to see the resort. She can see it on Instagram, I replied, where I post pictures of all the beautiful weddings we host for people who aren't selfish venue thieves. It's been a year now. Rosewood Resort is thriving under my ownership. We've hosted 47 weddings, each one special, each bride, regardless of age, treated like royalty. We offer discounts for older first-time brides, because everyone deserves their fairy tale, whether they're 25 or 55. Emma is engaged again, number 4. She's having a destination wedding because, as she told everyone, venues in town have bad energy. What she means is that every decent venue knows the story of the bride who stole her sister's wedding and got served karma with a side of security escort. Last month, she sent me a letter. Not an apology, Emma doesn't do those. Just a request to use Rosewood for her reception. It would mean so much, she wrote. To heal our family. To move forward. I had my assistant send back a form letter. Dear applicant, after careful review, we regret to inform you that you have been permanently banned from Rosewood Resort. This decision is final and not subject to appeal. Best wishes for your future endeavors elsewhere. My name is Diana Chen. I'm 39 years old. I built a multimillion-dollar tech company, found love with a wonderful man, and yes, bought an entire resort because my sister thought I was too old for fairy tales. Turns out, when you're successful enough, you don't need to believe in fairy tales. You can just buy the whole castle and decide who gets to enter. And sometimes the best happily ever after is the one where the villain is permanently banished from the kingdom. Emma was right about one thing. At 38, I was too old for fairy tales. I was the perfect age for revenge served ice cold with a property deed on the side.